Hi everyone, it's Lindy on here from Pink Whisper Designs. Today we're going to be making a fun Lawn Fawn card using the cactus and the sending hug sentiment. And this card was inspired by the current Lawn Fawn challenge, which is to make the sentiment the star of the show. And I'll also be showing you a really quick and easy inlay technique. So to get started, we're going to die cut this largest rectangle, and we're going to die cut this twice. And we're using the outside in stitched rectangle Stackables dies. And for paper, we're using the Strathmore Bristol Smooth 100-pound cardstock. I'm going to put this on a little bit of an angle just because it makes it a lot easier to run through my machine. Now for the sentiment, we're using the Sending Hugs line border die. And this is from Lawn Fawn as well. And I'm positioning it on that first panel. So remember, we cut 2 of these panels. And I'm going to position it at the 1-inch mark. And I'm using the glass medium mat just to make sure I'm lined up right at that 1-inch line. I'm taping that down with a little bit of purple tape. And then I'm also going to run that Sending Hug sentiment through on some black 100-pound cardstock as well. So I'm running this through 2 times here. So I'm going to keep these panels together for now. I don't want to pop any of the pieces out at this point. I'm going to grab the lower section of that white panel there, and I'm going to ink this up with Key Lime Fizz and Blue Raspberry. And these are the Hero Hues Reactive inks. So I'm going to go ahead and add that color all over the bottom, just a nice even coating. And then I'm going to come from the top of that line just down. I'm just pulling that darker color down. And then I'm going to go back and blend that out with the Key Lime Fizz. So now with this upper panel, again, leaving the word Sending Hugs right in there, just the way it is, I'm going to do my stenciling. And I'm using my Cloudy Stencil from Lawn Fawn. And I'm going to use Lemon Drop and Fruit Punch to do my clouds. I'm using my foam applicator tool. And I just want to tape this down a little bit first here. I just didn't want it to move around while I was doing my stenciling. I'm just going to tape that in place, and that tape will easily remove when we're done. So I'm going to start with that lemon drop, and I'm going to add a little bit of that. I pat it right onto the stencil, and then I start pushing it up onto the paper. And I'm going to add a little bit more of this color than I am of the fruit punch. So you want to go up a little bit higher with this. Maybe about a 1/2 inch or so. And then I'm coming in with the fruit punch, and I'm just going to push that color up just a little way, not too far. And you do want some light and dark areas. You don't want it to be perfectly even. Now, the reason I'm leaving that Sending Hugs panel in here is because I want the clouds to be on that sentiment as well. Because when we pop it out later, we're going to place some of the little pieces of the letters, we're going to inlay them back into this panel. So I want everything to match up, and you'll see what I mean here in a minute. So I'm going to continue doing this all the way up this panel. And at the end of the video, I'm also going to show you another way I did this. I used the exact same 2 colors, but I blended it a little bit differently. So I'll let you take a look at that sky as well at the end of the video. So now you can see the Sending Hugs, we stenciled across that as well. And that's what our panel is going to look like. So we had that second large rectangle we die cut earlier. So we're using that to line everything up here. So I'm going to take out my Sending Hugs now, and I want to keep that all together just the way it is. And I'm taking the little dot to the eye out as well. And then I'm going to glue this with my glue tube to this panel. And again, this panel is just going to allow me to line everything up perfectly because they're the exact same size. So I'm putting glue, and I want to make sure I put enough glue around all those little pieces there so that everything lays flat. And then just use your finger if there's any excess glue, just to kind of spread that out. Again, just making sure this attaches really well. So if I line this up exactly with the top and sides of this panel, then I know for sure that everything is going to fit exactly. So take a minute or two here just to make sure you have that lined up, and then press everything out nicely. Now I can go ahead and take that sending hugs. You can see that I kept that all together. Now I'm going to take this black one, the one I cut out of the black 100-pound cardstock, and I'm going to inlay that right in place here. So I'm just popping it out. From this one, I don't need all those little inside pieces. So for this one, I can just get rid of those. And now I'm going to place glue all around the back of this. And again, you want to make sure you have plenty of glue here, just so it lays nice and flat. And then I'm going to position it right in that opening there that's already been created. So I'm just going to make sure I line that up perfectly and position that down. Now I'm pressing all those little pieces in place, and now this little panel is going to fit right on the bottom here. So now we've created our little inlay. So it looks like one flat surface on the front, but we have these 3 separate sections. Now you can see that the little pieces inside the E and the D and the G are missing. So now what we're going to do is take this one here, and we're going to grab those little pieces and pop them right in place. And the best way I find to do it is we're going to put a little glue inside the E there. I'm going to lay this right over the top of everything. And then using my pick tool, I'm just going to push that little center right down and in place. I'm going to do the same thing here for the end. And just spread your glue out a little bit there. And I'm going to lay this right over top and then push that little middle of the end right onto my paper here. And these little pieces will just pop right into place. So it's like putting together a little bit of a puzzle here. I kind of enjoy doing this. I don't know, there was just something relaxing about it. So then you're going to do the same thing here with the D. Now for the little dot on the I, I'm going to use the black. So I'm going to go back up to the top here. I'm going to lay that over, lining it up, and pop that little piece right into place there. So again, I find this the easiest way to pop these pieces right into place. And now those little sections of the letters will match up with the clouds that we stenciled earlier. So everything will line up nicely. So it gives a nice finished look here. Now I'm using my bone folder. I like to just press this out, make sure that it's all attached and nice and flat here. And this is my Nuvo Surface Sweep Brush, and it's got these really soft bristles on it, and I love using this to sweep up any excess pieces of paper or glitter or even embossing powder. Now I'm just snipping off the ends of my sentiment there. Now using my Misty Mini, this is the Hero Arts Misty Mini, I'm going to go ahead and do my stamping. And I'm using the cactus, the flower, and the little face. And this is from the Year 10 set. And later on we will be using the sentiment as well. So I'm going to stamp the cactus and 3 of those flowers. Now a little footnote here, and I'm using the VersaFine Onyx Black ink to do that. I did want to mention that I did later on decide to do the inside of the card. So if you are going to do the inside, just stamp one more of the cactus here. While you're doing this one, you can stamp and color the 2 of them at the same time. Now I'm grabbing the eyes and the mouth here, and I'm just positioning that on the cactus. And I'm going to pick that up, and I'm going to stamp my second little flower as well. And again, I did end up stamping 3 of the flowers. So now, using my Tim Holtz water brush and my Berry Smoothie Hero Hues Reactive ink, I'm going to do some coloring. So I want to get my water brush flowing, and I do want to make sure it's clean before I start, so I'm just scribbling it onto a paper towel. And then I'm going to grab some of this ink from my mat here. And I want to put the darkest color right around the edges there, and then I'm just going to pull that in. I'm only using one color here, so I'm going to start off with that first layer. Then I'm going to add more shading along these edges. I'm just blotting off my water brush on a paper towel, and then I'm going to blend that out. Now for the flowers, I'm just doing a little bit right down at the base of these little petals. And then I'm just pulling it up towards the tips of the flowers. And if you get too much ink, just tap that off on your paper towel. Now with Key Lime Fizz and Blue Raspberry, the same two colors we used before, that's what I'm going to use to color in the little cactus here. So I've scribbled those onto my mat as well. I've just patted them down onto my mat here. Just checking my water brush to make sure I have just the right amount of ink. Or I'm sorry, just the right amount of water. And here I do want a little more water. I want to let the water do the blending for me here. So you'll see I'm just going to drop this color down in, this darker color. And I'm just going to kind of let it seep up. So I'm just dropping it in. Then I'm going to do a little bit of blending. And then I'm going to drop a little bit more of that color down in there. So you can do this as many times as you want. And really the water just kind of does the blending for you here. You don't have to do a lot of work here. Now I'm going to heat set this just very quickly. Now I did have a little ink that seeped down below. So all you want to do is take your water brush while it's clean and just go over that and then pat it up with a paper towel, and it'll take that color right off of the cardstock for you. So now that that's all set, I'm going to go ahead and grab some purple tape and my dies. I'm going to tape these down, and I'm going to run these through my Sizzix Sidekick machine. And once I have those die cut, I'm going to go ahead and take the card. This is a standard A2 size card. It measures 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. And I'm using my 1/4 inch double-sided tape to attach this front panel to my card. And this black cardstock again is the 100-pound cardstock. I'm going to center this panel on the front of my card. So now I can place the pieces on the front of my card, and I'm going to start off with this little cactus. I'm going to pop this up with a little bit of foam mounting tape. I'm going to add the little flower to the top of the cactus, and I just want a little chunk of the foam mounting tape here. I just need it on one side because it's going to lay flat on the top of the cactus there. So I'm going to position that down. And then I'm going to just simply glue down the other two little flowers just to balance out the card a little bit here and add a little bit of that pretty color off to the right hand side here. Now I'm using the Uniball Signo white gel pen, and I'm just going to add a few highlights here and there. And this will just make the card pop a little bit more. So I want to add a few little hearts to the front of the card, and I'm using the Scalloped box card pop-up die set. And there's 3 little hearts in there. I'm just going to grab those. Now going back to the Berry Smoothie color, I'm going to go ahead and add that color ink all over this panel. And then I'm just going to die cut those little hearts. Now here again, I did decide to add 1 heart on the inside of the card. So you want to die cut a few extras if you want to do the inside of your card. I'm popping these up with a little bit of foam mounting tape. And I just have the three of those there. And then I'm using the Hero Hues enamel dots. And this is the sunset color combination. But there are other colors available. So I'm going to put 5 of these on here just to add a little bit of interest. Now using my Nuvo Crystal Glaze, I'm going to put that on each of these 3 hearts, and that's going to give it a nice glossy finish and add just a little bit more dimension and interest here on the front of the card. While that's drying, I decided to do the inside of the card. So I die cut one more of that larger rectangle that we die cut before. So again, if you're doing this with the inside, you want to die cut 3 of those right from the beginning. And now I have the little cactus that I stamped and colored in off camera. And now I'm going to go ahead and grab the sentiment. And I'm just lining this up. It's in 3 separate pieces here, so I'm going to go ahead and line this up. And now I can remove the little cactus there, ink this up, and stamp this on the panel here. And this says, "Hope your birthday is on point." And I'm not doing a lot on the inside. I just wanted to add a little color in here because with the black cardstock, I wanted a white panel on the inside. So I thought, well, I might as well decorate it a little bit here as well. So I'm going to glue down my little cactus here. And then I'm going to add one little heart right there. And I'm using the Uniball white gel pen, just like we did before, just to add a few highlights. And I did add a little dot of white to the eyes on the inside and the outside as well. So here's a closer look at our card. And again, we highlighted the sentiment by inlaying it on the front. And we've added a lot of dimension to the card with the hearts and the little enamel dots. And this is the second card I had told you about. On this one, I used the same exact colors, except I went with the yellow all the way up into the cloud and then just added the fruit punch over the top of that. And you can see how dramatically different they look. So have some fun playing around with these skies. And I hope you enjoyed today's video. If you did, please hit the like button and subscribe. And don't forget to visit me at pinkwhisperdesigns.com. As always, thank you so much for joining me today. Have a great day. Bye-bye.